talks, and all my psychic abilities, which all humans have been trained in different parts of the world and since I was a child. This I chose before I incarnated as part of my mission to be able to share extra information, a lot of which is really weird. I forgot to change the name of this chat uh, before I went live, and I just did the most incredible reading about Mayan pyramids in Texas, Gulf of Mexico, Cholula, and in northern Guatemala that has to do with those eclipses. So that's what the name of the previous recording was. And so now we will put what it is that we're doing now. We have to keep our focus. Peace mantras and Fox sensory therapy. I will tell you about the pyramids another day. Maria del Carmen, who's from Mexico, is going to love it. As is everybody from the Gulf of Mexico. I don't remember if Cuba's part of the Gulf of Mexico. I think it is. That's where Atlantis was. A lot of interesting stuff happening. And the big issue is peace. The big issue is the chaos that we could have and are having that would prevent us from following through on our intentions in this incarnation at this very important time in human history. So I put in the landscape mode rather than portrait. Sorry. What are we doing here today? We're going to be doing mantras. We're going to be watching a sensory therapy video, and we're going to be doing a type of mantra that's different. It's called a telegram, where you kind of send yourself a message and you keep sending it. So we're going to start with asking you to please do a self-assessment. How do you feel right now from 1 to 10? 10 is great. 1, you want to slit your wrists. You keep it to yourself, and you are going to want to refer back to that number when we finish. Then we're going to go into another way of assessing what your frequency and your vibe is, which again, you're the one that's going to do the self-assessment. We're all gods. We all have superpowers. We just have been denied them. We've been denied the information about them, and we've been told that that is not, that's mythology. It's not, it's real. So this particular photograph is of a dress, the controversial gold and white dress. Wow, it's very shiny now, but I feel very much aligned because of the reading I just did. How do you see it? Shiny gold and white? Good. Dull gold and white? Okay. Blue and black? Your frequency is low. Just in your head, take a note of what it looks like. We're going to do the mantra now, but we're not going to start with the peace mantra, because what we have found is that I have an icon here that is quit, that is bouncing up and down. I just switched it up. The peace mantra is, please God help us with our intention to miraculously purify the fear and hate, because that's the basis for war, which is not peace. But we're first going to deal with what we all have, which is a massive depression. And I'll do sketches to show you what it is that we look like before and after. Like yesterday, when we started, we look like this. And then when we finished, we look like that. The green are particles of chi, which are, I believe, the God particle, perfect balance of the 4 elements of earth, water, fire, and air. So I'll sketch you in a few minutes when we get together. Why can I say I'm going to sketch us as a group? Because, and I know it's repetitive, when women live together, their menstrual cycles synchronize. People that live in the same country end up talking the same, thinking the same. When you have a pet, a lot of times we're told that we start to look like our pet. And it's true. Transference of energies. So I'm going to do a generic sketch of the group whenever we get there. A mantra is to be repeated in silence. By definition, a mantra is a device that liberates the mind. The Om is a mantra. We have the mantra for peace, which I just said the words a moment ago. We have a new type of mantra called a telegram, where you send yourself a statement and you insert it in a particular part of your energy system to reinforce that you believe that. So it's easier to create that reality. If you think you're never going to be happy, which would be in your pancreas, that information, and probably ancestral from your father, your mother, grandfather, um, it's hard to create happiness. But if you send a mantra, a telegram mantra to your pancreas, I have the right to be happy, there's a tremendous shift in your emotions and in your feelings and in your ability to actually create happiness now, this incarnation. Okay. Mantras are repeated silently. You expel the breath through your mouth. I strongly suggest a mudra, which is a hand position that changes your mind. So check and see how you feel. Now put the two center fingers together with your thumb and notice the way I'm kind of like calming down, talking slower, softer. And I'm like not jumping out of my seat. My astral spirit body is more aligned with my physical. My breath changes, and it will with you also. You just have to pay attention. These are subtle things. It's not a slap in the face. And you're the one that should be getting in contact with these subtle changes. You'll notice the light changing. It's not the light here. It's my aura and what I emit. I'm not the only one that radiates energies. But I am in the middle of a frequency shift, so it can get a little bit crazy. Okay. So we're going to do the vacuum cleaner mantra. Nope, that's not what I want. I want the chat. There we go. The vacuum cleaner mantra is, even though I'm depressed, I love and accept myself. Most people today will acknowledge that they feel the depression, and it's not that often internally generated. It's in the case of yesterday, the depression particles are coming from above. Okay? And sometimes it can come from a coworker. It can come from our mate. It can come from our sister. It can come from our mother. So it's not a question of you admitting that you're a depressive person. It's a question of being in contact with how you're feeling. Emotions are supposed to be emoted, and we're taught not to do that. Mantras are a good way of emoting without offending anybody, without people thinking that you're a depressive or that you're angry or whatever. So I'm going to put the words up. You repeat it silently. Release your breath through your mouth. We're going to do 5 minutes, and we're putting a sensory video that is for the solar plexus, which is where a lot of the emotion of depression will be. So it's, even though I am depressed, I love and accept myself. And you repeat it silently in your head. You can send it to your solar plexus. Okay? So you can go ahead and start, and I will put the video on. And the video was designed with musical notes and images that support a healing of the solar plexus, which is where we hold a lot of our depression. Okay? And if you have any comments on how you feel, please, a lot of the comments are in Spanish because a lot of my followers are mainly people who speak Spanish. But please don't feel inhibited. If you don't speak Spanish, we want to hear from you. We are here pitching you. Please let us know what you're feeling. You believe, you don't believe, you felt something. And don't doubt yourself, because that's the biggest thing to becoming a good psychic is self-doubt. I have something called the power of induction. It's a superpower, which means that when you're near me, even in a chat, I augment your psychic abilities. Did I declare this myself? No, I would have felt silly doing that. My handlers in the government discovered that when I was a child. And now it's a very good thing because my followers can get an augmentation of their psychic abilities, and you too, not just when you're in my presence. If you're with me enough, it stays with you. It takes you to a new level. And I'm very glad to do it for you. So let's. Okay. That video included a lot of dandelions, which dandelion tea and herbs are used for your digestion, solar plexus digestion. Solar plexus called the garbage can of emotions. If you don't have good digestion, you have a lot of emotions, whether you express them or not. If you're not in contact with those emotions, that means that you are not accepting of your astral, emotional spirit body. When in Star Wars they say, "May the Force be with you," they're saying that this particular body that I will show you now This is our the human assemblage of bodies. The gold one is your astral magnetic body. It's your spirit. When they say, may the force be with you, they're saying, may your spirit be totally aligned with your physical body, at which time you will be very powerful. When I do the Apana Mudra, my astral spirit body aligns so much better with my physical that I even sit straighter in the chair. My voice changes and I'm more powerful, even though I sound softer. So I did sketch us, and when I say us, I mean all of us, collective consciousness during this event. We don't look good. This is what we look like yesterday before we did any work. Okay? Anger, anger. And this is what we looked like at the end, which was great. But today, and I'm going to do them side by side, we have black magic on our legs, and we have an X in our throat chakra, which is another black magic. And then we have all this black coming in, but I guess maybe we did have that yesterday. That black was already coming in yesterday. See it there? But today, we don't have that protection yet. Let's see what happens when we finish the next two mantras. So let's do now 20 minutes of the peace mantra, which I have to write up. And remember to do the Apana Mudra because it makes a huge difference. May the force be with you. Do this. I remember many years ago, I gave a lecture in a bookstore, and a whole family came in, and they were sitting there with their, they were sitting there like this and like this, and I said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Francis, we're doing the mudra you told us to do." I was embarrassed. Okay, this is good. Follow instructions. Okay, here's the mantra. The depression one we did, even though I am depressed. You want to take care of yourself. In the peace mantra, we do we because we want it to be a collective. We don't want to be a collective with emotions, especially today when the world is dividing into two groups of people. One group that's going to kind of go down into the underworld, and the other group is going to kind of ascend. But in terms of the peace mantra, we want to hold hands on this. So it's please God. Give me a moment. Okay, here it is. Do not move the mouth with the words. And if there's a part of your body that has a lot of tension, direct your breath and this mantra there. You will be eliminating in you or diminishing your fear and hate, at which time, law of attraction, you're not going to be attracting and magnetizing to you that energy. So go ahead and start. We are going to use a different video. We're going to use the one that has trilling, which is the sound of birds chirping. And look how interesting. Birds can sit on electrical wires that are hot, and they don't get electrocuted. And this trilling sound from birds is healing and repairing of the human mind streams that are electrical. There's a connection there. I haven't had time to figure it out or think about it, but it's just like a direct connection. There's something about that vibration, that sound, that can protect us from excess electricity, which means excess fire. I'll do my research at another time. Let's go ahead and go to this. We're going to do 20 minutes. And you can put up here whatever comments you have, okay? just did 20 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes. We had a very nice happening here. One of our followers, Vanessa, she put it in Spanish. She may not know English, I don't know. She said that when she was looking at this video as we were doing the mantra, she could see a big X and then it started to fade. Well, when I sketched us at the beginning of this, I sketched an X here, black magic. And this is what's called, when they tie you up, it's another type of black magic. And during the mantra, I was purifying this, and Vanessa was able to see it and then see that it faded away. Thank you, Vanessa. So I haven't sketched us completely because we still have 2 more things to do. But I am going to put the dress up 1 second. How does it look? Okay, good. And now we are going to do the mantra that this mantrista group, we invented this, and it is a telegram mantra. You're going to send a telegram to yourself. And the telegram is, I have the right to be happy. I'm not going to go into the details, but there is happiness in different energy centers. The one associated with sexuality, which is the one with that, is in your second chakra, 2 inches below your belly button. But there's another type of happiness that has to do with daily happiness. And that is very associated with your pancreas. You're going to repeat this mantra in silence. You're not going to move your mouth with the words. And you're going to direct the words, which is why it's a telegram, very short, very to the point, to your pancreas. Where's your pancreas? Kind of underneath your left breast, a little bit more to the center. And you just have to have the intention and send it in that direction of your solar plexus, a little bit to the left of center. And let's see. Okay, there, I put the wrong one up. And we're going to do 5 minutes of this, and this creates a tremendous shift of consciousness. Apparently, too many of us don't feel we have the right to be happy. And it has to do with having the right, not the ability, the right to be happy, which was denied to us. But we're not going to go into those details. So let's go ahead and do that now. And we're going to continue. We're going to go back to the solar plexus video. Okay, so go ahead and start. Do not move your mouth with the words. Five minutes. Unbelievable. We did 5 minutes. This is what's unbelievable. We went from this to this. This is green energy. It's like a Nile green. I need colored pencils that are better. How happy. These are chi coming in. This is how we looked when we started. Now, I did remove this black magic from the throat chakra during the mantra for world peace. And Vanessa, without knowing what I was doing, and I wasn't sure I was going to say it, she said, as I'm looking at the video, I see a big X. And then it just started to disappear. It was when I was removing this black magic, which is no longer here. I really did not work on this. But look at the difference. Unbelievable. A wonderful thing about the other dimensions and being able to work there is it's really efficient because everything starts in the other dimensions. So you can create change very quickly when you work over there, especially if you kind of know what you're doing, which is what I'm trying to show everybody. Okay, but we have one last thing, if you've got the patience with us. We, as a planet, are facing a potential event that scientists feel can happen any minute, which is a flipping of the solar caps. Say it right? Yeah. You know that we have a physical planet and then we have an astral planet, the same way we have a physical body and we have that astral spirit body. They've been separating. The magnetic North Pole has been moving towards Siberia. It's no longer where it used to be. So obviously there's a big shift. And many scientists who study that say that any moment the planet can go like this, which would be obviously tremendous destruction. But we have good news, which I wasn't expecting. And I can only give you a piece of it because it's still too overwhelming. It turns out that the Mayans, who were the only society in the history of the planet that ascended gracefully, it's the big question mark in archaeology. What happened to the Mayans? And a year and a half ago, or a year and 3 months ago, another group of scientists came back and said, our conclusion as to what happened to the Mayans, we don't know. It wasn't famine, and it wasn't flooding, and it wasn't a lack of water. We don't know what happened to them because they slipped very gracefully into the other dimensions, which is what we would like to do today. But it turned out that they had a plan to help us out. And that plan was a little bit truncated when the Spaniards came, okay, and decided to wipe out the Mayan culture the way they did it in all the countries when they came and conquered so that they could impose their own. And if they could burn all the knowledge that culture had accumulated and do everything else that they did, it was easier to control the populations. So they did that. But the Mayans knew that was going to happen, and that information they had for us for today to help us to ascend, because that is the process we're in, they needed to protect it. And they did. And we are part of the process of retrieving that knowledge, which is in certain pyramids associated with the Gulf of Mexico. It turns out that there are pyramids that point up. That's a pyramid, right? Yeah, pyramids in Egypt. Well, do you know how many other pyramids are showing up? They've always been there. They're now showing up across the world. What's not showing up, which is what's important right now, are the pyramids that are upside down, that are underneath. The same way the human energy system, we have 7 energy centers at the top, then we have seven energy centers upside down at the bottom. The same thing with certain pyramids, which have to be activated now in order to stabilize the planet, having to do with the shift of the poles. I never thought I'd be talking about this. It's completely insane. It's actually like a really good movie, but you can't believe it. And as I was saying to somebody a little while ago, who happens to own a piece of property on which there is one of those upside down pyramids, her property in the plat books where they have the who owns what land, and the sketch of the property has an upside down pyramid, which is why we started to investigate. We have to activate those pyramids because that's what's going to stabilize the planet. And it all centers around the Gulf of Mexico. So here's another interesting piece of information. Gulf of Mexico has 3 bordering countries: United States, Mexico, Cuba. And I'm just talking because there's no way that I can organize this because I'm still overwhelmed by the information, which I just picked up most of it an hour ago. In Spanish television, we have had a couple of personalities who have had the most following of any shows, more than Oprah, the big news shows in English, and they were both Cuban. And I always found that interesting because there's like 20 Latin American countries for Spanish TV, and then Spain. And I always found that fascinating. It's not a coincidence. These women, yeah, they knew each other, but they weren't really associated. They just had millions of followers. I think it is associated with that knowledge that is in that Gulf of Mexico. Now, why not Mexican? What I picked up an hour ago was that the Mexicans have been really, really, really beaten up because of this knowledge that the Mayans, they hold for us. And in terms of the United States, and they're part of all of this, the pyramid that I'm working with, that I'm going to ask for your help with, is in Texas. So what's Texas have to do with it? Well, Texas used to be part of Mexico. See, I feel like crying. And they had a battle called at the Alamo, which was so intense in terms of emotions because it had to do with the ending of the world as we know it and the being able to stabilize the world when it is known that chances are we're going to really get thrown off track, the entire planet. So Texas separated from Mexico. So I guess it didn't fall under the attack that all of Mexico has had forever in order to keep this Mayan information down. So what I would like now, for those of you that have the time, we're going to do a mantra, which is the mantra to activate those pyramids, the ones that are in the Gulf of Mexico that are on their way up. You see them across the planet. Every day there's news. Oh, look at this pyramid that we just discovered in this country, this other country. They were always there. What's going on here? And that's the thing with the other dimensions. They can put veils and you don't see anything. That's why it's so good to be psychic. So anyway, the mantra is, please God help us with our intention to activate the pyramids. Which pyramids? Well, the pyramids that have to do with stabilizing the planets. The pyramids that are pointing down that will stabilize what is pointing up. Do you need to say which ones they are? No, because when you have an intention, God will know what your intention is, even if you don't know the exact details. So I'm going to just say a little story for those of you that don't really know a lot about me. I have a book that I'm finishing called Creation, From Victim to Master. And one of the stories I have in the book is that I decided I wanted to refresh my memory having to do with the martial arts. When I was a child, I was trained in martial arts. I was trained in a lot of things that would have to do with military, whatever. And so 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I decided I would try to go back. Well, overweight, beyond middle-aged female. It was interesting, but it woke up something in me, which was good. But one of the days that I was working with a martial artist, I looked at him and his chest looked really funny. And I said, why does your chest look so funny in the other dimensions? And he looked at me and he said, oh, I have iron shirt training. And I said, what is that? He said, it's a very intense training. I didn't finish it, but basically when you finish it, if somebody tries to knife you, like put a knife in your chest, it doesn't penetrate. Iron shirt training. Do you know what it was that I saw in the other dimensions? I will show you. Well, I'm going to show you part of it. This is the way we look. Let's see if I can get that to do that. Nope. No. Okay. The part of that is in the chest area, those are mind strings. The part that are in the chest area, no, I don't want that. Were braided. Those strings were braided, his entire chest. And that made it impossible for a knife to penetrate. So, do you think that the person that did iron shirt training knew that they were going to braid their mind strings in their chest? No, they didn't need to know it. They just simply had to have the intention that their chest not be vulnerable even to a knife. So when I ask you to do this mantra to activate the pyramids, we don't need to say what pyramids need to be activated. We don't even need to know what pyramids need to be activated because God will know. Or, yeah, I'm going to say it, God will know. And that God could be inside of us. It could be us. It doesn't matter. God would know. We don't need to know. We just simply have to have the intention. That's what life is like on planet Earth. It's really a lot easier than what we are trained to believe and to do, which is why my book is called Creation from Victim to Master. When you have the information, then it's kind of like, oh, this game is a lot easier to play now that I understand the basics. So we're going to do 5 minutes of that. And we appreciate you joining us. Okay? And the mantra is, please God help us with our intention to activate the pyramids. Okay, so I'm going to give me a moment. It's very exciting. It's like an adventure. And it's being part of history. Atlantis, the Gulf of Mexico. Mexicans, Mayans, the only ones who transitioned, ascended gracefully in all of the history of the planet. All the others, it was a mess, including today. Very exciting. Estela, can you write this in Spanish for all of my followers that don't know English, that are from other countries? And some of them from here, but mainly from other countries, with our attention to miraculously. I'm sure this can be done a lot more elegantly than the way I do it, but I'm sorry, this is the way I do things. Very real, very in the moment. When you do a lot of thinking, it really interferes with the psychic stuff. Activate the pyramids. So the pyramid in Puebla, Mexico, Cholula, that now it turns out that it's taller than the pyramids in Egypt, is a crucial point. Plus pyramids that are in northern Guatemala at El Mirador, which are huge Mayan cities that have been there for hundreds of years. And the scientists are saying, why did nobody ever see these cities? They're like super cities. Nobody saw them. Did you know that the Mayans knew that the Spaniards would destroy everything? They needed the information saved for us for today. They murdered, sacrificed 17 Mayan individuals in a ritual where the intention was to protect those cities, or El Mirador, that particular one, so that nobody could see it, even though it was right there. And I, by the way, know 4 of those people that have reincarnated. It's going to be a good movie. Okay, so there we have it. So why did it? Oh, that's so interesting. It's got my name on it rather than saying the R from Restream. That's really nice. Okay, so that is the mantra. Please God help us our intention to miraculously activate the pyramids. These are the pyramids that are pointed down, such as, and I'm just going to wave it in front of you, that piece of property. Got it? Okay, there we go. Now, I know what sensory therapy music we're going to use. I love my work, by the way. I hope you love your work too. Oh, where is it? No, 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 no. I think it's this one. Unbelievable. Oh, that was from the text at the bottom, Mayan pyramid activated in April by ETs. That is from the previous chat where I was doing the remote viewing, and I just shared the information with you. So let me show you. When you are stumbling in life and you don't know what you're doing, what you're going, you have spirit guides that are sitting there waiting for you to kind of get your act together. What does get your act together mean? Get your act together means aligning with what you said you wanted to do when you incarnated in this lifetime. When you do that, those spirits are allowed to really help you out, which is what we're doing right now. Everybody that's here, even whether they know it or not, or believe it or not, decided they wanted to be part of this process. So we started this chat, and this is the way we looked. We had 2 pieces of black magic. It's the first time in this. One in the throat chakra, very important, and tying up the feet, the legs, so that you don't move forward. So, okay, so we did the peace mantra, and look how great we look. This is chi, this is green energy coming in, which is the energy of the heart and love. And this is how we look now. Now, do you remember in the Middle Ages when apparently everybody was very psychic and they used to draw the saints and they had very elaborate auras around their head, halos? That's what this is. Those are those mind streams that I showed you, looking really good with the spiraling, which is creativity. And these, of course, are chi particles. And the heart has been activated. When you align with your mission, life gets easier because the spirits are allowed to help you out. And when you really wake up, you'll get a new set of spirit guides because your frequency went up. So the spirits that used to guide you before are no longer appropriate. You need a new set of spirit guides. And you get them automatically. You don't have to ask for them. So we are in a really, really, really good place. Fascinating. And by the way, as I told you, it was determined when I was a child that I had the superpower of induction. You're in my presence, your psychic abilities goes up. We started this chat, and I don't remember what the name of the mantrista, which is what we call ourselves, but she said, please help, because, hold on a second. Okay. She said, I'm going to read it. It's actually right here. Hello, Francis. Please help us. Those of us that live in Puebla, Mexico, because the volcano is erupting for 3 days, and it's impossible to leave the home without putting on glasses and without putting on masks. We need a mantra to soothe everyone. Well, Puebla is where Cholula is, which is one of the important, I don't remember if that's the activation point of these upside down pyramids, or if it was just one of several. I don't remember. I did that an hour ago, and it's overwhelming, the volume of information. She did not know any of this when she asked for this, and they never asked me for this kind of thing in this particular chat because the orientation is different. In the other chats, yes. So there's a volcano that's erupting, and we are going to get and have been getting interference from ETs and So very synchronistic, all of this, and overwhelming to have all this information and try to pull it together and to try not to make any mistakes. and they're telling me they're waiting for me in Puebla. And it's true, since that series, and you should look at it, the series on Netflix. Hancock is the name of the man. He's a journalist, but he did a series of documentaries on different places around the world, and he covered Cholula in Puebla, and he said it's much bigger than the pyramids in Egypt, and it's above ground, but it was obviously hidden. Even though it was above ground, there's grass. There used to be they put a church on top of it. They were trying to hide it, and again, it was a protection. Okay, I'm overwhelmed. I'm finishing. This has been an hour and 13 minutes. It's supposed to be like 45 minutes. I apologize. We're in a very good place. We have our work cut out from us, and it's not difficult. That mantra, how difficult is that? It's not. You don't have to do it all day long, but do it. Okay? Thank you for joining us. Bye. To activate the pyramids,